Before Nigeria had borders, before we had heroes, independence, or even an anthem, there was just an idea and a name. But the story of how that name came to be isn't told in classrooms or national celebrations. It begins not in Africa, but in the drawing rooms of London, under the ink-stained fingers of a woman the world almost forgot. Her name was Flora Shaw, and this is the Untold Nigeria. Late 19th century London was a world dominated by men. The press, politics, and empire all ruled by male voices. And yet, Flora Shaw broke through that silence. Born in 1852 into an upper-class British family, she was well-educated, eloquent, and fiercely intelligent. By her early 20s, she was writing children's books, but her ambitions were far greater. In 1893, she joined the Times of London newspaper as a colonial correspondent, one of the first women in the British Empire to hold such a position. Her reports covered the vast and complicated reach of the empire, from the South Africa to the Gold Coast. But one place caught her fascination more than any other: the territories along the River Niger. At that time, what we now call Nigeria was a mosaic of kingdoms and protectorates: the Sokoto Caliphate in the north, the Benin Kingdom, the Yoruba city-states, the Ijaw, the Igbo communities, each proud, independent, and distinct. Yet, on British maps, these lands were lumped together under one company's control, the Royal Niger Company. Its job was to trade ivory, palm oil, and anything else of value in the name of Queen Victoria. But to Flora, the arrangement seemed messy, confusing, and unfit for the empire's ambitions. In her eyes, Africa needed structure, identity, a name that could unify administration. That's when her pen went to work. In January 1897, writing from her London office, Flora published an article that would echo through history. In it, she argued that the British territories around the River Niger should have a single name, short, modern, and easy to recognize. She suggested Nigeria, a combination of Niger, the great river that flowed through the region, and area, meaning the surrounding lands. She wrote, "The name Nigeria may serve to designate the territories under the influence of the Royal Niger Company." It was practical, it was colonial, and yet it stuck. British administrators adopted it almost immediately. Within a few years, official documents began using the term Nigeria, a name born not from local tongues or traditions, but from the pen of an English woman who had never lived among the people it described. To understand Flora Shaw, we must see beyond the name. She was not mere a journalist. She was deeply connected to the architects of empire. She admired strong leadership, order, and expansion, ideas that aligned closely with the colonial thinking of her time. Many saw her writings as justification for British rule in Africa. She believed that European governance could bring civilization to African societies. Her words helped shape the British public opinion, painting Africa not as a land of equals, but as a region in need of control. Yet, even within those imperialist views, there was an odd sense of fascination and admiration of the complexity and power of African kingdoms. Flora Shaw wrote not with hatred, but with the arrogance of certainty and the belief that our world knows best. In the late 1890s, Flora met Lord Lugard, a seasoned British soldier and administrator. Their partnership was more than romance. It was strategy, intellect, and empire intertwined Lugard respected her mind. She admired his mission. When they married in 1902, Flora Shaw became Flora Lugard, and together they became one of the most influential colonial couples in Africa. While Lugard governed territories and later unified the North and the South Protectorates in 1914, Flora advised, wrote, and defended his policies in the press. In many ways, she helped shape the British understanding of Nigeria even after the name had been chosen. When Lord Lugard merged the Northern and the Southern Protectorates, the name Nigeria became official. It was the birth of a new entity, a nation on paper, bound together by British convenience rather than native consensus. For some, Flora's name symbolized modern unity. For others, it symbolized foreign imposition, a label that ignored centuries of rich identity. Regardless of perspectives, her pen and Lugard's policies became the foundation of modern Nigeria. Flora Lugard died in 1929, long before the rise of Nigerian nationalism and independence. She never saw the flag change hands or the name she coined shouted in stadiums and parades. Yet her shadows remains in textbooks, passports, and conversations like this. Her story raises questions we ask today. Can a name given by a colonizer truly represent the soul of a people? What was once a foreign label has become a symbol of unity, culture, and resilience. Flora Shaw may have named the land, but Nigerians gave that name a meaning. Today, from the bustling streets of Lagos to the peaceful hills of Jos, from the Niger Delta to the Sahel, the spirit of Nigeria speaks louder than its history and far beyond its colonial beginnings. Every story like this reminds us Nigeria is more than history, it is heritage. If you believe these stories deserve to be heard, don't just watch, be a part of it. Subscribe, share, and let's bring the Untold Nigeria to light, one story at a time. This is the Untold Nigeria.